Hey there, I'm live. The microphone is on. I can see myself. Let me get over to YouTube so I can see all of you too. 1 second. It takes my YouTube a second to load up. There we go. Hi, how are you all doing? Oh, it's been a minute since we've got to talk, hasn't it? So I'm excited about this. This is going to be lots of fun. I got some tea for you tonight, some updates in the case, some news to report. It's nothing too big, so I didn't think it was worth making a separate video for it. But I wanted to do a live and touch base with y'all, especially with the holidays coming up. I've been so busy and doing other things that YouTube has kind of taken a back seat for a minute. But now that we have some news, I thought we'd come talk about it and see how everyone's doing. So let me say hi in chat. Hi, Andrew, Rosie, Alistair, good to see you. Leanne, Fuzzy Doxy, Carrie-Ann. Be kind to each other. Welcome a new channel member. Thank you so much for being here. But you say your mom died Saturday evening. Oh, I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry. That's a rough thing to go through. I can't imagine how you're feeling, but we are here for you. All right, reach out. This is a great community, lots of people, lots of support. So stick around and we got your back. So anytime you need to talk, we're here for you. Andrew, no, I'm not ready for Christmas yet. I'm working on it. Got 12 days to go. So I'm getting busy. Hi, Miss Wee Lassie. How are you doing? Dal Pace, nice to see you. Tess, always happy to see you. I loved your gingerbread house. That was so cool to see. French Blue Shan. So hi, I'm so glad you're all here. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Oh, first, I got to show you this bracelet. I have this little bracelet. It's got some Christmas baubles, a little tree and Santa, and it makes a jingly noise. I've been wearing it like nonstop. So thank you, Tracy. If you're out there, she sent this to me for Christmas and I love it. It is so much fun. So thank you. I can't stop wearing that. Every time I jingle, it makes me happy. What a great gift. Thank you. So we've got some stuff to talk about the Vallow Daybell case. Yay. It's been a dearth of information as we're waiting for all the hearings that are coming up and the trial's not starting till summer. So, there hasn't been a lot going on, but a few things have cropped up and I have something to show you. It's going to start off with the fun thing because it kind of made my jaw drop. I mean, it shouldn't have because, it's Melanie Gibb. What do we expect? Let's see, which one is this? 1313. Darn it, I don't even know which tab it is now. Well, let me pick one and see if it's the right one. Could it be EO1? Oh, no. Here we go. It's image 1313. There we go. I found it. I'm smart. I'm learning this stuff. Slowly but surely. All right, if you look on the screen, I saw this recently on posted in a group I'm in, and I'm like, oh, Melanie and David finally got married. Took them a long time, given how quickly most of these people get married. But look at the date. Look at the date. Marriage date, 12/12/2020. What happened on 12/12 in 2019? Do any of you remember what happened on 12/12? That was the day that Alex Cox was found dead in his apartment. The day after Tammy Daybell's body was exhumed. That's the day that Melanie Gibb and David Warwick picked to get married? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I have some thoughts about that. A lot of people are saying that they did it so they couldn't testify against each other. That's not actually the case because in Idaho, there is no spousal immunity. So being married doesn't help them in that at all. So they just got married for whatever reason. But yeah, picking that day, that bothered me a bit. Hi, Jess. How are you doing? I'm glad you made it. I missed you. So yeah, they have no soul. Truth seeker, I agree. When I saw that, I'm thinking, that's just a new kind of sick, There's no way that they're not cognizant of the fact that that was the day Alex was found. There's no way. Certainly, they're involved in the case. They're both witnesses. They're very much aware of that date. So I was not happy. Fuzzy Doxy, thank you for the super chat. Fuzzy says, these people are just strange and sketch. You know it. You know it. So a lot of people are tossing this around as, well, what does this date mean? Is there a significance to 1212 in the Bible or something? Not really. I mean, certainly through math, you can come up with 144,000 by multiplying 12s and stuff, but I don't really think they went quite that far. I think they're just that crazy. They're just that crazy, you know? But anyway, my jaw dropped when I saw that. I'm like, oh, please, if anyone, leave it to Melanie Gibb and David Warwick for doing something that outrageous. And of course, to them, it's not outrageous. They probably have some perfectly good, crazy spiritual reason why that was the right date to get married on. Who knows? Maybe they'll have a kid and she'll think it's Alex reborn. I would not be surprised. I would not put that past her. But yeah, they're both definitely drinking the Daybell Kool-Aid for sure. For sure. But so yeah, that's it. They're married. Yeah, Jess, that's a good question. I don't know if this was like, was this a temple sealing? Are they both still going to church? Was it just a friend that did it? Who knows? I don't know. But there you go. They're really married. Guess she came out of the closet for a day to go to a wedding ceremony. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Gibb and Warwick are officially married now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that started my week off, and I'm like, I just it's at a point where like I just can't with these people. I can't with the crazy. I can't with the tone deafness, the lack of just common normalcy and decency or something. Even if, I mean, it's not like Alex was her family or anything like that, but you don't get married on the death anniversary of someone like that. It's just, ugh. Anyway. So yeah, Melanie Gibb's married. That's the first bit of news. The other thing that I saw, well, let's back up a little bit. Annie Cushing did a live stream last Friday, I believe it was last Friday, all about Melanie Gibb, right? Which was quite interesting. She highlighted a lot of the instances where we see Melanie Gibb enabling Lori and bolstering this whole crazy thought system. Now, as we know, Melanie is trying to portray herself as, oh, well, the things they believed were a little crazy, but I didn't believe those things. Oh, no, it wasn't me. They were the crazy ones. No, baloney. I'll call that right out. That is absolute baloney. She was as deep in this as they were. She was the one organizing and hosting these private talk events at her home and Lori's home and all this stuff. She's still doing that, as we know of, to this day. We have a series of emails and texts that were sent out to her group recently, I think within the last 6 months, talking about, the next time that they were meeting to talk at her house. So, it's just a thing. Yep, I always watch Annie. I'm a huge fan of Annie Cushing. And I say fan, I don't want you to take that the wrong way. I don't celebrate this case. I don't think it's wonderful and fascinating. But I adore Annie Cushing. I like her fire, her tenacity, the things that she's overcome in her life, and to get her to where she is. She is a self-made woman. She is powerful in her own right. And I adore women like that. She's strong and she's fiery, and I love Annie Cushing. So yeah, I always watch her. I don't miss a thing she says. So, yep, they were on Dr. Oz. Annie Cushing and Nate Eaton were also on Dr. Oz over the last week. I think there are some links to that in Discord. You can find it somewhere on the internet. I don't like Dr. Oz at all, but they did very well. So that was interesting to see. So yeah, that happened. So Melanie Gibb is back in the forefront of all of our minds. So it was interesting to see Annie talk about a lot of these things that we've all talked about and come up with some things I hadn't heard before, but just this overall arc of Melanie Gibb completely knee deep in this mess with Lori. There's no separation there. She's in it with Jason Mao and Lori. She knew Chad. I mean, no, for her to keep trying to say, oh, I just thought they had some strange beliefs. I wasn't part of it. No, stop it. You can drop the act now. We know better, But Flame Lily says she believed everything they believed. She denies it because she knows it makes her look gullible. Yep, absolutely. Annie is really where Annie I think Annie Cushing herself has done more for the furtherment of this case than probably anyone else, including the law enforcement, honestly, So Annie Cushing's timeline is probably the most important information that we have, in order to get the whole story straight. I have a hair in my eye. That's bugging me. So yeah, a huge Annie Cushing fan. You can follow her on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, her YouTube channel. She is leaving the True Crime Underground group because now she's ready to take a break from being front and center in this case, and remember that she does have a life to live. And I wish her all the best. I do. I'm sure we'll see her back around once the trial starts, but so yeah. Annie has lit a major fire under law enforcement's tush, Truth Seeker says. And that's true. And we know that for a fact, which brings us handily to the next topic. Joseph Ryan. Now, Joseph Ryan is Annie Cushing's brother, Tylee Ryan's father. Okay, so Annie is Tylee's aunt. Now, she played an audio file recently that showed that, well, it didn't show, but it recorded Lori giving a talk at some house all about her great mystical stuff. But in that talk, she talks about how she wanted to murder her ex-husband, Joseph. And she felt justified in murdering him, citing different passages from the Book of Mormon and such. Really? So Annie got a hold of that and forwarded it to the police and FBI and played it on her live stream. And it was like, hey, come on. There comes a point where you have to say, here is this man who is dead. Okay. At one point, Lori's brother attacked him with a taser. And he admitted it and went to jail for it. And then he just turns up dead one day. We don't know exactly why or how yet. Well, sort of. We'll get to that in a minute. And we have her on audio tape saying she wanted to kill him. And even telling, well, she says that she told the temple bishop, I need a temple recommend or I'm going to commit murder. Haha. Funny joke. This woman is unreal. So all of these things combined, given all of the other deaths around Lori, finally, the Phoenix Police Department is taking a look into this. Now, there is not an active investigation. There are no people of interest or persons of interest listed. That was a bit of a misheadline that came out recently. But there are no actual persons of interest. But they're reviewing it. Okay, they're going to look back over the situation and say, was there something here that we missed? So that's a good first step. I'm very happy with that. Now, in line of that, they have released 121 photographs that were taken when they discovered his body. Now, I have put in a request with the Phoenix Police Department to get a hold of all of these. Some news outlets have released a couple of them, but I want the full body of the photographs. I have not heard back from them yet. I'm going to have to call. They were a little reticent to talk to me about it. I said, I want these photos. Like, well, why do you want them? Like, because they're public record and I want them. Please give me the information to get them. They didn't really want to, so I think they're going to drag their feet a little bit, but I will push and I will get the photos and I will have them uploaded somewhere so we can go through them and see what we can see. But I'm going to show you some of them tonight. They do make things a little bit more clear. All right, as far as the layout of the apartment, the doors, the windows, things like that. Now, remember, in the police report, the actual police report, which is uploaded in my Discord server, they say they tried the front door, but it was locked from the inside, right? Because even my apartment door, you have a deadbolt. They can lock only from the inside, that you cannot unlock from the outside. So they couldn't get in that way. So they went to one of the windows up on the balcony thing type, and they removed the screen and went in through the window. Okay, that's how the police gained entry to the apartment. So, excuse me. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze. Guess not. So that's how they gained entry to Joseph's apartment. So let me start showing you some photos and we can talk about them. So share screen. This is EO1A9. Share screen. Oh, this is so technical. EO1A9, which is where? There we go. All right, here's the first one. Let me put it up. Let me make it big so we can just talk about it. All right, this is Joseph's kitchen. All right, it's pretty bog standard guy kitchen. There's not a lot of decoration. See a loaf of bread. He was obviously making spaghetti, a jar of spaghetti sauce. Nothing on the fridge except some clips. Pretty typical. It's actually kind of neat for a guy. Like my husband would never hang the towel over the bar on the oven quite that neatly. So, all right. Right? We don't really learn a whole lot from this other than he made some spaghetti. Okay, so that's Joseph's kitchen. So we find the next one, which is E01A. I have to remember all this. This is, I guess I go in that order. All right, here's the second one. Now this one, word of caution, if any family members are watching, this one might be a little rough. This is Joseph's bedroom. Okay, now you see the sheets, the bed, you see some staining on the sheet. They have blocked out part of the image. I don't know what's under that block. I think we can assume whether it's just staining or, I don't know if his body's in the bed at this point. I would guess not in this photo because you don't see any parts of it, but that's where they found Joseph. All right. Now, when we look at the bedroom, there's not too much suspicious or odd. We do see this book here, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I don't know what that book is. We should look it up and see what that's all about, but that's clearly what he was reading, or at least had there. Look in this closet, you see nice dress shirts. Those are little dressy dress shirts, right? And there's a few of them. If you look at the sheets, those are not Walmart sheets. Those are expensive sheets. So the whole thing about him being rather destitute, I don't know about that. May have been behind in some bills, but those are expensive sheets and shirts. And there's an air mattress in the box. Not sure if that's what's on the bed or what, but anyway, so that is Joseph's bedroom. It's a self-help book. Okay, I'll look it up and see what it's about. Next, we have, let's look at this one. This is his office, presumably inside the apartment. E01AZ. There it is. Okay, this is his office. Now you see the office chair, the desk. There's no laptop there. I don't know if they took it or he just didn't use it there. Pile of papers, some stuff. It's nothing extravagant. It's nothing exciting. Hold on, I have to. All right, so there you see Joseph's office. Now, these pictures, they are also up in Discord, so if you want to look at them more closely and blow them up, you're free to do that. Next one is the kitchen. Now, this one's kind of interesting to me. Let me open the picture. E0188. Here we go. All right, if you look at this picture, this is the kitchen counter. A couple of things that I find interesting about this. First, there's a plate with looks like the remnants of a peanut butter jelly sandwich or something. That's weird because someone else pointed out, I think it was in the Facebook group, why are there no crumbs on that plate? Just the end of the sandwich. And I would never have picked up on that. And I don't really think it's significant, but I just think it's interesting that I didn't notice. If I was eating a sandwich on a plate, there'd probably be crumbs. So interesting. Maybe not really interesting, but that's there. But look at all these pill bottles that we have. Now, in the toxicology report that was released earlier this year, okay, about Joseph Ryan, there were a lot of medications listed. A lot of things. There were uppers and downers and, muscle relaxers and painkillers and a lot of different things. Like, I thought, now I'm not a doctor, I don't know this for sure, but to me it was like that's over medicating for something, but there are a lot of prescription bottles. There's also, it looks like an Advil or something like that. But the toxicology report really listed a ton of medications. So, that's something to think about. We do not have a doctor's opinion yet on what was in all of those in the toxicology report. But from my layman's perspective, he was really hurting and taking a lot of stuff. Right now, I believe Annie Cushing did say that a month before his death, he had fallen off a roof or something, or off a ladder, and was in a lot of pain. So perhaps he was medicating a little bit too much because it was very painful. I don't know that for sure. That's just a rumor that was heard. But that's a pile of all the medications that were found in the kitchen. All right, and next, all right, when I was talking about the doorway, this is image 3. All right, this is the door. You see, there's the handle and 2 deadbolts. One of those only locks from the inside and cannot be unlocked from the outside. One of those, I believe the top one, can be unlocked from the outside. Now, they were both locked when police got there. So that's why they didn't immediately rush to think this might be foul play, because if you go into somebody's apartment and kill them, you can't leave and lock the door from the inside. It doesn't work that way. Okay, and none of the windows were broken. All of the screens were intact. So there you go. There's a picture of the deadbolts on the door. All right, next. This is just an outside shot. Image 2 coming up. This is an outside shot of the apartment. Now, when we look at the next picture, the front doorway inside his apartment, where it's actually, you're looking at it from inside, you can see that his apartment is the corner door at the top of the stairs. You go top and look to your left, there's that door that's kitty corner, right? That was, presumably, that's what this picture is, the door into his actual apartment. Okay, so now you know what it looks like from the outside. And next is the inside. Share image 4. Okay, there we go. This is a look from the inside. Now we see a bike. We see, looks like a tablet charging on the ground, something, a vacuum cleaner. You know, that's it. That's the, see how the doorway is kitty corner to the outside. So that makes the previous picture kind of like, oh yeah, that's what that is. So that's Joseph Ryan's apartment. You know, it's nothing really astounding. It's not anything really, you know, it's not all that expensive or anything like that. It's just a normal kind of apartment for a single guy, you know. So now the window, yeah, Tracy, in the police report, they do say that the windows were intact. They got in through one of the windows, that the police removed the screen and climbed in through the window. Or the balcony doorway thing. I have to look it up. I'll get the documents to you. Actually, they are already posted in Discord from probably a couple months back. But they said that when the police got there, everything was intact. Right? The police removed the screen to get into the apartment. So, and the door was locked from the inside. So that right there. I mean, we have to, as much as we want to say, oh, Lori did this. We have to back up and we have to take this logically and factually and keep our emotions out of it as much as we can. And so at this point, what we can say is there's no signs of forced entry. The unit was secured and he had been deceased for some time when he was found by the police. That's all we know. We know the toxicology report. He had a ton of medications in his system, and they're listing his death cause as arteriosclerosis, however you want to say that. So that's all we know. That's all we know. Hopefully they're going to take another look at it, and maybe there is something there that they missed. You know, we just don't know that. But it is a little bit too much of a stretch to think that maybe Lori wasn't involved. I mean, it's hard to imagine because Alex did try to kill him. You know, he did. And he wouldn't have done that unless it was at Lori's behest. And the day that he encountered Joseph, when he tased him, the only way he would have known Joseph would be in that spot at that time was from Lori. So, I mean, you know, and then it's not like that's her only husband that turned up dead. There's another one later on. And then there are her 2 children. And then there's her husband's wife. I mean, goodness gracious. So, of course, there's reason to say, hey, we need to look at Joseph's death because Lori even said she wanted to kill him. The words came out of her mouth that she wanted to kill him and she felt justified in doing so. So all of these extraneous things going on certainly lend a picture that Joseph may not have died of natural causes. But, you know, they have a lot of investigating to do. It's going to be challenging, you know, to go back and try to find something. That's why they have said the new officer who is actually the public relations officer, I believe, Mercedes Fortune, somebody related to this case said that they were going back and looking mostly at the digital evidence. Right? Maybe there's a text from Lori to Alex, or who knows, you know, but there could be some form of digital evidence to tie them to this. Hold on, I have to cough. Ooh, there we go. That was a surprise. So That's what we've got for Joseph Ryan. If I get my hands on the rest of the pictures, the full set of the 121, which I will push for, I will upload them into a PDF file or something through Discord or whatever. There's a lot of them that are very graphic that I'm not going to show on a video because there's no reason to do that. But for our own investigative stuff, we always look at autopsy photos. That's not something most of us in the community are afraid of. And sometimes you can see some very interesting things. So I will post them somewhere semi-privately. They will not be posted in a video, but all the ones that are like the ones I just showed you, those I'll probably put in a video for you as soon as I get them. So there you go. That's the news with Joseph Ryan. So what do you all think about that? Do the photos explain anything to you? Did it at least set the scene better in your head? I had imagined him living in kind of a yucky apartment. You know, from everything that we've heard, especially from his lawyer, who did that interview that I talked about a week or two ago, I expected him to be living in a cheap, rundown, gross apartment. You know, I didn't expect it to be in that quality and to see the really expensive sheets on the bed. And I was like, oh, he wasn't completely impoverished. And the shirts, you know, those shirts that were in his closet, if you dress up for a very high-end business job, those are the kind of shirts you wear. They're not your average Walmart button-down shirts, you know. So I was like, okay, all right. I had a different opinion of what I was going to see. So they changed my opinion a little bit. How about with you? Yeah, feeding it. Yep, I did too. I thought that he was living kind of in squalor, but nope, that's obviously not the case. Is there any evidence he overdosed? Sort of. I mean, not really, because they didn't rule his death an overdose, even given the toxicology report. They ruled it as a death from atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis. So that would not be an overdose, although it certainly could contribute to it. You know, who knows? They probably just took the most logical answer. But I would think in order to give that as the cause of death, they would have actually had to look at his arteries and see the plaque buildup and stuff like that. I don't know if they did that or not. So maybe we'll find out as they go through the review of the investigation. So living life in Hawaii. Hi, how are you? She says, feeling bad for him having Lori in his life. Me too. Me too. Were Joseph's keys found? If foul play, anyone have time to force their way in, take keys and make new ones? I don't know, Betty Boop. It's possible, but even if they did have his keys, if the door's locked from the inside, you couldn't get in with the key because you can't unlock that door from outside if that second deadbolt is locked. So even if they had the keys, that wouldn't have been able to give them access. And even if they did get in, if only the top lock was locked, you can't lock the second lock from the outside either. So there's no way that door could have been locked unless it was locked from the inside, locked or unlocked. So, yeah, I don't know. The two plates are, yep, just noticed that there are two plates. Remember the plate I was talking about with the bite of the sandwich left? There are two plates in that stack, not just one. Did he have someone over? Why was there something that looks like a sandwich if he was making spaghetti? Or was that from lunch? Or, you know, who knows? We just don't know. But maybe someone was there that night. We don't know. What about from the garage? I don't know if there's an entrance from the garage. I think the only entrance into the apartment like that, from what I've seen of all the photos, the only entryway is that front door. I think. We don't know that for sure. I need to see a 360 of the building. But I wonder if the apartment building has security cameras. Chelsea, I would think if it did, we would have heard something by that. You know, I don't know. They should find out. I'm sure that the police have asked. I hope they did. But, and why was the lid off one of the medicine bottles? That's a good question. It's a very good question. So, yeah, these photos are up in Discord. So if you want to take a really close look, blow them up, look really closely at all this stuff, catch like Jess is catching some stuff. Let's see what we can find. You know, there might be something in there that makes us say, hey, wait a minute. You know, so if there's a lid off one of the medicine bottles, did he take a handful of them? Or did somebody open it? Did he have a guest over for dinner? I don't see any dirty plates from the spaghetti, though. You see the open jar of spaghetti sauce, but you don't see dirty plates. But then again, I don't have a picture inside the sink. Maybe there's a dishwasher. Who knows? I just don't know. But it's worth looking at. It's worth talking about. So It appears that there's a water bottle next to the paper towels in the kitchen that has a different color liquid at the bottom. All right, you'll have to look at that. It's interesting. The outliers were Joseph and Tammy. Not a stretch to believe who did it. Yep, Betty Boop, I agree. It's not a stretch. However, things can look pretty convincing circumstantially, but they have to prove it. They have to find something that shows he was murdered and who did it. We can't, unfortunately, throw people in prison for life just because it looks like they probably did it. It would make sense, so it doesn't always work that way. But yeah, the apartments are pretty close. Yep. Definitely, Stephanie. So that's what's going on with Joseph Ryan's case. I really hope their review will turn up at least something enough to make them say, all right, let's reopen this investigation. Let's see what they get from all the digital digging that they're doing. Maybe they'll find Alex's cell phone ping right outside that apartment. That would be something, So we'll see. Lori could have paid a girl to date him in foul play. Yep, she could have. She could have, and she could have administered something into his food or drink and then left the apartment. He locked up for the night and went to bed, and that was the end of it. That could definitely have happened. So, whew. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing? I'm glad you made it. How much snow did you get up there in Idaho today? Eric Grossarth, who is a reporter who works with Nate Eaton, was posting some snow pictures from Idaho. Really beautiful. I can say that it's beautiful, and I love snow because I live in Texas where it doesn't snow. So if we're lucky, maybe we'll get some snow this year. I would love a snow day. Hey, Zelda, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you're doing well. Kathy Sherman says he's making spaghetti and had a sandwich left on the other counter. If only he had been given custody of Tylee. Yep. Maybe they'll find something linking his, Alex's, and Tammy's autopsies. Jess, that's really possible. We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, the Betty Boop. See, I thought I was crazy. Like, where did we get that idea? But I definitely had the impression that he was living almost in poverty and destitute, and his apartment was squalid and horrible. But that's not what we see in these pictures at all. So, curious as to where that came from. I don't remember where I got that impression from, but I was surprised when I saw the photos. Tessa's gingerbread house is linked in Discord, so just check in on the Discord server and you'll be able to see it there. She posted some great pictures of it. I told her it was, a Christmas miracle because she managed to make a gingerbread house that has not fallen down. I don't know how she did that. Some kind of magic. So, hi, Abby. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. His lawyer, Snafu says that his lawyer did say that he was out of money and broke and was living with a lawyer and then living with some friend. But it was before that I had that impression because I remember thinking when the lawyer said that, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because he was poor. Yeah. Like I had heard that somewhere before, just that lawyer's interview. I just cannot remember for the life of me where that was. So, yeah, Chelsea, that's true. I could just be, that my interpretation of that is he was living in that, mansion with Lori and they had a lot of money. And then he came very far down from that to an apartment that's still very nice. Or maybe in my mind that just said squalor. I don't know. But so those are the pictures that I have for you so far. When I get the whole rest of them, then we'll talk about those. But we'll see. Now, all right, the next thing I want to talk about tonight, Rob Wood filed his response to John Pryor's memorandum for the change of venue, pretty much just saying, hey, wait a minute. You want to talk about this survey you did with this PR company? Maybe you should introduce all of that information to the court because I'd like to see it too. So that Rob Wood is planning to call him on that kind of shenanigans. So we'll see what happens. But that happens on January 6th. Now, January 6th is going to be a busy day. We have the motion to dismiss, right, from John Pryor. We have the motion for change of venue from Pryor. But we also have the motion to dismiss from Means with Lori's cases from Madison County. So all of these hearings are happening on the 6th. I'm a little concerned that there's going to be a timing thing. It would be nice if all three are separate so that we can watch all three. But I have the sneaky feeling that Lori's might be going on during one of the prior ones. So I don't know. But I will bring you live whatever I can as it happens on January 6th. So please mark your calendar. That's going to be an interesting. I really want to hear I want to hear Pryor's argument for the motion to dismiss, because I think that's ridiculous, and I think that's going to be a short hearing. Judge will be like, yeah, sit down. Means argument for motion to dismiss. I don't want to listen to that. I mean, of course, if I can, I will stream it to you, but it's going to be Mark Means waffling on, as we saw with the bond reduction hearing, where he waffled on for 3.5 hours. That doesn't excite me, listening to that. But I don't think that's going to get anywhere either. And then we have the change of venue. I'm kind of thinking they probably should have the change of venue. How do you guys feel about that? I want the trial to be perfectly fair, because I don't want to have an appeal process, right? If they get convicted, I don't want to have to go through years of appeals because they can argue they didn't have a fair trial because there was no change of venue. And they couldn't get an impartial jury. I don't want to see that. I'd rather have everything perfect right now so that they have no basis for appeal later on. And I think Rob Wood is of the same mind. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get the change of venue. What do you guys think? Do you want them to have the change of venue, or do you think, a lot of people say, just throw them behind bars, throw away the key. We can't do that. That's not how our justice system works. But, yeah, I don't want them to have a leg to stand on legally. And they could, in fact, argue that they can't get an impartial jury. Now, it was interesting to me that John Pryor threw Nate Eaton under the bus. He's calling out East Idaho News by name as the local media company who's tainting the jury pool. And I'm like, they're covering the story. That's not tainting the jury pool. It's a huge public interest story. It certainly involves a lot of things, including even the Mormon church. So it's a huge interest in that area. People want to know what the heck happened here. I think the only people poisoning the potential jury pool are Chad and Lori and what they did. Call me crazy, but I do think that they should move the trial. Maybe to Boise. I don't know how much of a help that's actually going to be, but Feeding It says they should get a change of venue, but it makes you wonder if the church would taint the pool, reminding every stake not to be involved. Possibly. Pryor did also bring up the letter that was written by Chad Daybell's sister-in-law, right, Heather Daybell, and she sent that. She's the women's stake president thing in her area in something Fork, Herod's Fork. Henry's Fork, I think. And she sent this letter to her people in the women's group thing about the case. And Pryor even goes so far as to say she made it sound like she has some insider knowledge and stuff, and she's giving her opinion of what happened, and that's not okay. Talk about tainting the jury pool. And I agree with him. She should not have written that letter. The church should not have put out their memorandum about don't get involved in cases, call our legal team first. They shouldn't have done that. Okay, so I agree with him on that. I really do. So, yeah, they need to, I think a change of venue is in order in this case. The sister-in-law lives in, your sister-in-law lives in Boise. And see, that's what I'm thinking, Sharon. Boise, I don't know how much better they're going to fare, although there are a lot more people in that area than there are up in Rexburg. So it's possible they may have to go through hundreds of people to find an impartial jury, but maybe they have a better chance where it's more populated. Maybe, who knows? Melanie Gibb wrote a letter. She had the big one that was posted on the Avow forums that I do have a video on and a read through of it way back from months ago. If you want to read that letter, that's up. It's also up in Discord. But Melanie, she kept it to Avow. She didn't publicly put it out, although Melanie Gibb has done interviews. She's done interviews with Nate. She was on Dateline, sniffing her grapes. We won't say anything about that, but yeah. Joe P., thank you for the super chat. Wow. Thank you so much. Joe says, and Joe, by the way, Joe is really great with this case, so we've been emailing back and forth. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I have to catch up with you. Joe says, if Melanie and David aren't trustworthy and there are numerous holes and inconsistencies in their story, why has everybody accepted their timeline of when JJ was last seen alive? Are there other witnesses placing JJ on Sunday? You know, Joe, that's a darn good question. That is a darn good question. The only actual statements that we have of when JJ was last seen alive being on that date is from Lori and Melanie and David. Huh. All right, Joe. Now you got me thinking. That is an excellent point. So yes, cheers for you. Big stars for Joe. We don't actually, if we can't take what David Warwick, Melanie Gibb, and Lori Vallow say as truth, which we can't because they've lied about everything. When was JJ actually last seen? Curious. Very curious. I know at one point we do have that, the Ring doorbell video from the neighbor across the way out back. Check the date on that. But didn't they saw him at school on the 21st or something? So we know that they did see him at school close to that date. I'll find out the exact last date. He was seen. Oh, that's right. There is a picture on the couch that was taken, and I believe the metadata on that picture shows the date of that day, that evening, I believe, correct? So, all right, that could be. But yeah, really great point, Joe. Picture in his PJs. Yep, Panther Woman, you're right. That was on the couch that evening. Melanie and David contradict each other concerning Lori being at the property viewing. I think that was a script. They did contradict each other. So someone's not telling the truth. He didn't go to school on Monday. All right. So yeah, really good point. Snafu likes many. These are my Christmas nails. We're doing Christmas everything here. So I've got my Christmas trees with the little patterns. They're cute. Yeah, I got to do Christmas. They need to dig deeper into the visit to look at the pieces of land and call the realtor. Yes. See, CJ, I was like, all right, where's this realtor? Why did Wood not follow up by putting the realtor on the stand and be like, who was at that? Was there actually a realtor? Who is it? What's their name? Get their testimony. Who was there? I want to know, because that whole thing to me sounded crazy. Chad and David and Melanie and Lori, one says Lori was there, one says Lori wasn't. They went to look at a piece of property that Chad was showing to David so David could buy it to build a tent city or something. Why did they do that? Who was there to do that? Who attended it? What was the point? They didn't dig into that. They didn't verify it because there's no information from a realtor or anything. So, Yep, like Joe PA says, because Lori would have had to have been with JJ unless he was already dead, which would explain how she could be at the property, because JJ was not there. They all said JJ wasn't there. So where was JJ? Was he home with Lori? Was he with a babysitter? Was he already deceased? They really didn't hammer that out at the prelim. So maybe they will at trial. I would hope so, because that's a big hole. It's a very big hole in the case. I thought we found the realtor on the original witness list. I don't remember. I know we went through the witness list. We're going to have to look at that again. Rosie, thank you for the super chat. Look at the Christmas icons. Those are great. I love it. But yeah, let's dig back. We'll go into Discord. I'll find the original witness list from the prelim. It does list a lot of people. We Googled all of the names to see who they all were. There were some doctors that weren't called, some pediatricians that weren't called. And I think there might have been a realtor on that list, now that Jess mentions that. But we'll go back and check. But whatever, they weren't called to the stand to verify that. So that would be like to work. That would be very interesting. Will I be at the trial? Oh, I would love to be at the trial. I would love to, but with the plague and finances, I can't take off to Idaho to go sit for the trial. However, if it is live streamed, we'll be doing it right here. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. I will not miss a minute of it if it's streamed, and I'm pretty sure it will be. I'm pretty sure Court TV, I believe, is the pool camera, and I believe that we'll be able to stream it here. So we will see. But we'll be watching that for sure. I seriously wish you had met Joe. You would have a different opinion. You wish I had met Joe who? What? I'm not sure what you mean, Mama D, or if you're talking to me or someone else. But will Mel and David being married no, it will not. Mommy is a lion. In many states, there is something called spousal immunity, where you cannot be forced to testify against your spouse. However, in this case, first of all, there is no spousal immunity. There isn't. So in the state of Idaho. So that's off the table. But they wouldn't be testifying against each other. One of them would have to be the defendant, but they're not. They're just witnesses. So, that's not really at play in this case, thankfully. So there you go. Oh, the weird mom. Hi, how are you? I haven't talked to you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Aloha. I hope you're nice and warm in Hawaii. I am freezing here in Texas. It's very cold. It's like 50 degrees. Like, No, it was actually 37 the other night. It was really cold. No immunity in Idaho. Yep. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But that, Rob Wood is going to use them as witnesses, and Pryor is going to impeach their character and their testimony every way he can. And he got a good start at the prelim. He was not easy on Melanie Gibb. He was a little bit easier on David, but he was definitely not easy on Melanie Gibb. And he's going to prove at trial that you can't believe anything she says. So I think I've always said she's a very problematic witness for the state. That's one of the reasons why. Anyway. So, I haven't watched too much of chat, but as far as Joseph Ryan goes, one thing, even Annie Cushing says this, and that is her brother. There are no perfect victims except the children. The children are perfect victims. Tammy may have been a perfect victim, but Joseph Ryan was not perfect. Of course, he was not a perfect person. Charles may not have been a perfect person, but you don't have to be a perfect person to be a victim of a homicide or any other crime. You don't deserve to die if you're not a perfect person. I know a lot of people have formed an opinion about Joseph Ryan based on a lot of the documentation that was released that I will not cover or talk about, but 90% of that is probably not true. I don't believe it. I really don't. So, I'm not going to bash any of the victims in this case, because you don't know. None of us know Joe. If you do know Joe, then you should probably talk to his sister, Annie Cushing, and not me. But yeah, let's not bash the victims. None of them are victims, but you can still maybe have some issues in life and maybe not be the nicest person in the world and still be murdered. Does that make it justifiable? Of course not. I don't believe many murders are justified. Maybe a couple. If I saw my ex, no, I'm kidding. My goodness, it's a joke. Those are bad jokes to make in the true crime community. But yeah, I do not think that Joseph Ryan was a perfect victim, but I do believe he was a victim in a lot of ways. He certainly was a victim of Lori's craziness and her lies and her manipulation and all of that. So yeah. Aussie Gardner, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. You're still recovering. I hope you're on the mend. I really do. I have thought about you, and I'm glad to see you here. That means you must be able to sit up and take nourishment, so that's a plus. Glad to see you. Hi, Kimberly. How are you doing? Cold in Idaho? You guys got some snow, I saw. I'm very jealous of you. Panther Woman says her ex too. Yeah, I think we need an ex island. We can just ship them all there, so just to save themselves. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Just checking up on chat because I've missed so much chat. I've just been talking so much. But yeah, it is really good to see all of you again. We haven't been doing our weekly stuff, mainly because there's just no news. Like, I don't want to make videos and do live streams just to BS for a while. I mean, unless you guys want me to, I can. I don't mind BSing. I'm good at that. But I try to wait for actual news to have something to give to you. Say, here, look at this, as opposed to just chatting for a while. But so that's why it's been quiet, because there just hasn't been any news. As soon as there is something, I bring it to you as quickly as I can. And I did wait. I did have the Joseph pictures like Friday or something, but I really wanted to wait to see if the police department would get back to me and get me those pictures for today so I could do something better with them, but they haven't yet. So I couldn't sit on that anymore. But if I do get the pictures, then we can do another live, or I'll make a video about them, at least the ones that are suitable for showing publicly. And I'll be pretty judicious how I choose those. So don't be disappointed. I'm not going to put graphic autopsy photos or anything like that on a YouTube video. I'm not doing it. But they will be available if you need to see them. So let's see. Yep, X Island. We should do that. I agree. Oh. Everybody is wishing Aussie Gardner a speedy recovery. I'm so glad you're doing better. That's good to hear. All right, so the next big thing coming up in the case are the hearings on January 6th, and there are at least 3 of them scheduled, possibly more. If anything happens, I'll come to you with it if it's important and not just rumor, because I try to stay away from the rumors as much as possible. But everything that you need to know as far as all the documentation, certainly all the legal stuff. I really like to have all the legal documentation, all the affidavits, the memorandums filed with the court, the motion filings, all of that stuff. That's all in Discord. Because I think being able to go back and refer to those documents is really important, especially the probable cause affidavits, because tons of info in there that we need. So all of that is there in Discord. And Bipolar Princess just dropped a link. So if you need to join us there, feel free. Discord is completely free to use. It's just a chat program. You can do voice chat or text chat, video chat, all kinds of cool stuff. Discord is fun. Jess says, doesn't Letitia Stout have a hearing for the end of the year? She did have one, but they decided because of the plague and all of this stuff that they are postponing it indefinitely, and there has not been a new date set as far as I know. So if that happens, we'll talk about it, but I think for now that's just kind of put on hold. We don't know yet the results of her second psych eval, or if she's even had it technically. I think she did, but we haven't heard much because the plague, it's messing up all our trials, Oh, goodness. Denise, you're very welcome. Hey, Gulf Coast girl, how are you doing? I love the pictures of your holiday. That looked beautiful. That was it sunrise or sunset? Whatever it was beautiful. It's good to see. Missy says, do you think Rob Wood will hire some experienced attorneys to help him? Oh, I'm sure he has an entire office full of attorneys helping him. He's the state special prosecutor. So, yeah, he has help. Absolutely. He has a team of investigators. He's got all of law enforcement. He's got all of his attorneys. And, yeah, he's not doing this on his own. It's not a one-man show for sure. So, Feeding It wants to see the video of Letitia Stout's first psych eval. I do too. That would be something we would study for a very long time. Oh, goodness. Brennan Tube says, I thought I heard the doctor has not been able to get into the jail to meet with it. That's what I heard too. So they haven't been able to do it, and they're blaming it all. Well, it's quite possible it's really because of the COVID situation. And so the hearing is put on hold indefinitely. So hopefully that will get resolved at some point. Oh, the special on December 20th. Leanne, that's right. There is going to be a, what is it? Something's happening on the 20th. A TV show about the case. And I would like to be able to do a watch party in Discord. I'm not entirely sure that's going to work. So, but pay attention for December 20th. There's something on TV about the case. I totally forget now exactly what it is. If you remember, please put it in chat because I forgot. Joe P.A., thank you for the next super chat. And he says, don't be so quick to dismiss defense motions. One or both of the attorneys has the whole truth from their client. Within those motions, we can get glimpses of what they know that we don't. Yep. Joe, that's why I always keep them. I always download all the documentation I can find. I do full read-throughs of them. I don't just say, oh, here, look at this one. Look, I read the entire document because those are really important. Even Pryor's memo, the memorandum in support of change of venue. There's a lot in there. He hints at a lot of stuff. So you see a lot of cards he's going to play. So yeah, these motions, they may just sound like legalese and whatever to a lot of people, but if you can listen to them and read them carefully, you'll see a lot of good stuff. On the ID channel, Truth Seeker says, okay, 3-part special on the Vallow case. Great. Oh, that's right. Isn't that Kay and Larry's documentary? That's what's coming out on the 20th? Yes, I believe Nate Eaton posted about that. As far as the watch party, it's a thing. I have to check on the legalities of it. Like, I can watch it on my computer, but then also like mirror that to Discord, so anyone who joins our Discord server could watch it also. I don't know if that's entirely legal, and I am not about to go breaking laws to well, I have a hair stuck on my nail. I don't want to go breaking laws so we can all watch the video. So, I have to check on that. I don't know if I can do it, if I'm allowed to or not. If I am allowed to, I will, and we'll be able to watch it in Discord, whether you have the channel or not. You can just come into Discord and be able to watch it and hear it there. So I have to check on that. I'm not sure if it's going to work or if it's legal. So we'll see. But there is also a TV show with Justin Lum, Nate Eaton, and Eric, and somebody else too. They'll be doing their own thing. Justin's going to post that on his Facebook. I think that is up on the 18th or something like that. It's not the same one as the 20th, but that's coming too. I can ask Justin directly if I can live stream that and we do a watch party. But then again, we can watch it on Facebook. Everyone has Facebook. So keep an eye on Justin Lum's Facebook page. There's a link in the description so you can follow him there. Or on Twitter, it's JLumFox10, I think, on Twitter. So yeah, follow Justin because that's going to be really good to see. Mark Means probably believes Lori's lies. Missy, I think he does. I think he's smitten with Lori. So whether he believes them or not, he's certainly playing along with them. Because I think he's got a little crush on Lori. Yeah. But yeah, so there's some TV shows coming up. Is Mason Cow testifying? I don't know. I don't have... There is the early witness lists that are up in Discord, and he's not on them. So I don't know. I don't know how deeply they're going to look into him. I think they should. I think he's more involved in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff than people realize, but I don't think he's formally a witness at this point. So Mason Cow. Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of things coming up. There's the Justin and Nate, and I forget who the third participant is. It was somebody that I remembered. But now I can't remember. But that's coming up very soon. I think December 18th. But like I said, check Justin's Facebook for that. The 20th is Kay and Larry's documentary. So if we can do a watch party, we will. If not, we're going to have to watch it independently, and then we'll talk about it. And then the hearings are coming on the 6th. So did you see how they came down on Fort Hood? Yes, I did. I was pleased by that, although I don't think it goes far enough. I think, 14 people were fired, removed from their posts at Fort Hood. I really think they should just shut it down because it's bad, but at least they didn't just sweep it under the rug and say, everything's fine, nothing to see here. So I was pleased to see some movement on that. That was interesting. And I live pretty close to Fort Hood, and down here, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So, but at least there's something happening with Fort Hood. Mason. Brendan, we're talking about Jason Mao. We call him Mason Cow because we just don't want to flag him that we're talking about him because I don't trust the guy. No, not at all. Call me crazy. Fort Hood does have a terrible reputation, and with good reason too. With good reason. So I would prefer them to just shut the whole thing down. But anyway, so that's all I have for you. Is there anything else on your mind that you guys want to talk about? Some time for a Q&A. If you guys have any questions, anything you want me to go over, you can watch this on replay to see the pictures again, or you can just check them out in Discord. They're all posted, all the ones I showed you, plus a few others that were just kind of boring, so I didn't post them here. But can they just shut the military pay? I don't know. It's just Robbie. I have no idea, but it's problematic enough that they should probably find a way. Hi, honey. What's up?
I'm looking for a pair of black pants.
For Miranda?
Yes.
I think she wants these pants here that she left over there. There you go. Yeah. Kids. Oh, goodness. It took many years to shut down the base in Okinawa. It was really bad, too. Yeah. If y'all haven't seen... Oh, no. Gulf Coast Girl. One thing I will never, ever, ever promote are psychics in true crime cases. Not here, man. No, I love you, but we don't do that here. No. I try to stick to the facts as much as possible. I may give my opinion on things. I may give you my theories, but I always clearly state it as a theory. But I like to go on documentation and evidence. I don't do psychics. No. Annie posted pics from inside Joseph Ryan's bathroom that showed sunglasses that Lori wore. Okay. Mama D, you keep saying the same thing. Listen, do you know Joseph Ryan personally? Like, really personally? Like, was he your best friend, or are you related or something? Because we're not going to bash the victims here. The he was awful to Colby thing, I don't know that for sure. All those court documents, if that was what you read that was released by another YouTuber, you think Lori was telling the truth in all those? Really? I don't believe it at all. He may not have been the greatest person on the planet. He may have had anger issues. Even his own sister says, yes, he had anger issues. But, I'm not turning him, like Jess says, we're not canonizing him, not turning him into Saint Joseph. But at the same time, I'm not going to vilify him further either. He was victimized by Lori enough, maybe even murdered by someone. We don't need to keep dragging him down in chat, okay? So that's the last warning. I would ask you to please stop doing that. That's all. Because he may not have been the most wonderful man on the earth, but whatever. Lori was not honest. Nobody knows the truth unless you actually know them personally. And even so, people who know Lori personally don't know the truth about everything either. So don't think anyone knows the truth. I was not pleased to hear removed from their posts. I wanted to hear things like dishonorably discharged. Yes, the weird mom. Yep. Move them around instead of, you need to be, on trial for some of those things. So that's my position on Joseph Ryan. As far as I'm concerned, in this case, he is one of the 6 victims. So it may come out that he died of natural causes. He may have medicated himself too far trying to deal with the pain of that fall that Annie was talking about or something. He may not have been murdered. We don't know that. But it's highly suspicious given everything else that happened to the guy, Joe says, do you think the reality has set in yet for Lori? I think Chad knew he was full of poo-poo. Do you think Lori has figured that out yet? I think Lori's always known that Chad was full of hot air, but it served her purposes, right? She was getting what she wanted. She was getting the supply that she needed from Chad and his craziness and his fame within those circles. So I don't think she cared if he was, full of poo or not. So that's what I think about Lori. Anyone who's worked in family law or been through a big custody battle can see straight through those docs. Missy, I agree completely. I think Lori is knee deep in her BS. I think Chad was just a vehicle for her to further her own baloney. Of course, she'll never admit it. Allie, you're right. She'll never admit that. Missy says, custody fights are super stressful and no one ever wins. There are only degrees of losing. I agree with that. Is Gabe? I did not see Gabe on the preliminary witness list. He may be for the trial. But then again, remember that the trial coming up next summer is only for these couple of charges, right? The conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence and the actual destruction of evidence for Chad. That's all that the trial is about their conspiracy to hide the remains of JJ and Tylee, and Chad's being charged with actually doing it. Lori isn't even being charged with actually destroying or concealing the remains, only Chad. So that's all that this trial is going to be about. All the stuff with Joseph, that would happen in another state because he was killed. He died in another state. All the stuff with Charles, that is not in Rexburg. That is in another state. The stuff with Tammy, that may come into play. There may be some murder charges for Tammy. Alex's death, we have no idea what's going on with Alex's death. That was right. Oh, actually, no, he didn't die there. Where did Alex die? Arizona? I think that might even been another state. So right now, we're not even dealing with the murder of JJ and Tylee, only the conspiracy that they had to hide or destroy the remains. So it's a very narrow scope in the upcoming trial. Now, are there going to be murder charges? Sure, there will be later, either conspiracy to commit murder or actual murder, attempted murder, something like that will come down the line, but they're still working on that part of the investigation, right? I think their plan right now Let's get him on the conspiracy charges, because that's clear. As far as I'm concerned, just what we saw in the PCAs is enough to say, yes, there was a conspiracy to conceal evidence. Boom. Both of them guilty. 5 to 10 years in jail. All right. That gives Rob Wood some breathing room to get all of the other charges lined up, and an airtight case that they can't lose and won't be appealed and all that stuff. That's going to take some time. Yeah, Alex died in Arizona. So that would be a whole nother state, a whole different thing. So we have to remember the narrow scope of what we're dealing with right now. Sure, it may expand later. There may be additional trials later and charges. But for right now, we've just got this conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. Oh. All right, Mama D, I've asked that we not do this. I'm really sorry. But I don't want to be victim blaming. I'm not here to debate all the stuff in those custody documents. I didn't cover those documents for a reason. Okay. Yes, I read them all. Yes, they're horrifying. No, I don't believe anything that Lori said or what she told those children to say. I don't. I do believe Joseph may have had some anger issues. His own sister says that. I get that. I don't believe the claims that Lori made against him, though. He passed the test. He passed the psych evals. They said he didn't do those things, right? Lori's own psychologist at the time said she was a little, so, okay. You may be really close to Joe. You may have known him, but that's not what I do here. Try that on some other channels, maybe. Okay. But as far as I'm concerned, we're dealing with a man who is dead in mysterious circumstances and a giant case full of mysterious circumstances. That's it. Okay. I'm not here to crucify anyone, especially someone who could be the victim of a homicide. Not my gig. Not my gig. So I'll have to do that somewhere else. I'm sorry. Connie Britton could play Lori. Yeah, she could. Connie Britton might make a better Melanie Gibb. You're right. After seeing her in what was it? That big narcissist show. That was interesting for me to watch, a little triggering. But yeah, she could maybe play Melanie Gibb. The grape sniffing. Oh, yeah. And there's going to be movies. There are going to be movies about this for decades. This case is crazy. So anyway. Any other questions, thoughts, or concerns? Dirty John. Thank you, Missy. That was it. Yep. She was in Dirty John. I didn't like the movie version of it, but it's an interesting story. Certainly one I can relate to. If you've listened to Toxic Bliss, or if you haven't, while you're on Christmas break or something, I have a playlist on YouTube and also on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that stuff, called Toxic Bliss. It is my story of life with a narcissist and how I got out and survived. Interesting times. So there's 35 episodes out. The story is not finished. There is more to come. So if you want to catch up on that, that is up on YouTube. And I think any major podcast, any major podcast platform has Toxic Bliss. So Lori Loughlin can play someone when she's on a show. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Joe says, let's not forget the situation in which we found Joseph's daughter. So it's a very valid thing to question his death. Absolutely. I agree. When are more Toxic Bliss episodes coming up? I'm not sure. I had them ready to go. Actually, I do still have them. The next 2 or 3 ready to go. But I ran into some behind the scenes kind of drama stuff that was pretty triggering, and it put me in a place where I'm a little uncomfortable putting that really personal stuff out at the moment. So I'm working through that. Give me a little time. It's very hard to put a personal life story of your own abuse out in public. It's tough to do that. And sometimes I need to pull back and be like, put my walls up again, build my tower. My own personal London tower to hide in, as opposed to be murdered and tortured in. Whatever. So yeah, Toxic Bliss is coming. I do want to finish because the end of the story is great. It really is. I win in the end, but going through some of the garbage, not fun. All right, so. Joe has not had dinner ready for his wife because he's been slacking playing on YouTube. Better go make dinner. Good luck, Joe. Oh man. All right, but that's all that's going on here. My husband just got home from work. I don't have dinner ready for him too, but c'est la vie, can order pizza. Yes, tiara time. Rosie and I have to go shopping for tiaras because we've decided that our inner children want tiaras and we should have them too, to be supportive of our inner child. So we are going tiara shopping. So there you go. All right. So everyone have a wonderful night. I will certainly at least do another live stream before Christmas because I want to do like a Christmas special because I love Christmas. Thank you all so much for the super chats and welcome to our new members. I really appreciate that support because it really helps. It helps me keep wanting to do this and I love it. And I love all of you guys. So have a wonderful, safe holiday. I will see you before then. And certainly if any news comes up, I will let you know as soon as I know. So take care, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye. Where's the bye button? I need a bigger goodbye button. Here we go. There it is.